Okay, so Sarah and I have been kind of fooling around with the idea of making some kind of video, and this is our first attempt. And we have just a teeny tiny bit of a plan. But the main premise of this is to show how to make things fun when they might not necessarily feel like they can be. And the example I'm going to use is the holidays, when you are faced with celebrating them after being faced with losing a loved one, which Sarah has gone through. What year did your boy Adam cross over?
January of 2014, so this will be my fourth Christmas.
Your fourth one. And I didn't mean to just dive into this part, but since I'm here,
it's okay.
Go ahead. We did.
Sure.
Like I said, we didn't have a plan.
It's okay.
Sarah and I, many of you know our story, but for those of you that don't, we met through channeling Eric. Somebody had posted, "Where are you from?" And so she was reading the list and saw that we lived in the same town, which was Spring. And so we had made a date to go to Panera, which is why I call her Sarah Panera. And actually, she had come up in a this is funny, because you came up in a reading that I had with Justin back in 2014 that said that I had a new blonde friend that was going to get me out of the house. And she sure did, because we went to Panera every week. And then you just recently had a reading with Justin, and he said that a friend with the letter a K name
is going to be helping
some
me.
Projects or something. So,
yeah.
so
here we are.
Been instrumental with us all along.
That's all right.
So I'm going to turn it over to you, but I want you to tell us, do whatever you want, but I want to hear the Adam story. I mean, not the Adam story, the Adam's boot story. Go.
Oh, okay. Okay. So when Kari and I met, it was July of 2014 is when I reached, so it's only been like 6 months for me. That's what I can determine my before and after was January 2014. And Kari was going through her awakening too. So we were both going, it was part of the universal pull for both of us to go through our shift at the same time. So we went through a lot of crazy crap together for sure. Lots of tears, lots of laughter, but a lot of fun. And we only live like 15 minutes from each other. So we have lots of opportunities to meet up for free coffee refills at Panera. So we spend 3 hours and only pay for 1 cup of coffee. We're good. And and so she knows a lot of what I went through, because she shared a lot of those months of my first, of going through lots of my first.
Oh, God. All those days in Panera when we both be like having just tears
rolling.
Don't fall. And
yeah. So we went through a lot of shifts together. She probably doesn't remember a lot of what I went through, and I don't remember lots that she went through, but we can reflect on it and go back through it now. It was like looking at a mirror image, because Kari and I have so much in common, yet but we're so different. And I'm a decade older than you.
I know. Isn't it interesting, though, that, we had, because, it was the awakening that we were going through. Your catalyst was Adam, and mine was just weirdness. I had weirdness. But because it happened at the same time, we really did have like the same sufferings at the same time, and we really were a really good support system for one another.
Yeah. And we had same mutual friends, through channeling Eric. And you introduced me to Elisa. Elisa was so instrumental in my healing and pushing me forward, because I had a role model to follow.
Yes.
Another mom to follow who's right here in Houston. So
yeah, and let me take off with that too, because I know I asked you about the boots, but I say this to Sarah all the time. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry, because Sarah has I was just telling my husband out there what's going on, and he said to me, I feel really sorry for her because she just can't get over it, or something like that. I don't know. And I said, actually, it's the exact opposite. Of everybody I've ever met that has ever lost a child, Sarah has been the one friend that flipped it over so quickly to find the silver linings, to find the shiny side. And she just knew that her path was to, she wasn't going to have the same relationship that she did with her son before. She was determined to still have a relationship. And she didn't waste any time. You pushed forward and you pushed forward and you pushed forward. And here you are, and you do have a relationship with your son. So tell me about that, and in ways that you honor it for these holidays.
So the crazy part is when you have a death, and I know many of the viewers that are going to be watching this have already have gone through this. In heaven, we're just more of our expanded self, more of our true self. Okay? So we can continue the relationship, although I am not the mother to him like I was in the physical life, but we still very much had the life and the memories, and he's held on to all that. That's part of, as Kari and I know, and all of the viewers know, that this is part of heaven, is that we just continue on. It's another extension of your true self of being. And so now he's helping for me to finish my journey. So I was able to help him finish his journey and his spiritual bucket list, if you want to call it that. And now he's helping me and many of his family members and friends. So with all the signs and synchronicities that I started receiving right away, part of this journey is the healing. As you heal and not resist as much through the grief, and get out of the past, you'll start seeing more of the signs and synchronicities. You're in a higher vibration, so you can receive that communication.
The more you see, the more you see.
The more you see. Because we're all getting thousands of signs constantly, all day long. But if you're not in that receiving mode, if you're not in a high enough vibration, you're not going to see it. Just like children pick up on everything that's in the room, right? They can pick up on an ant that's on the wall across the room.
Sarah, I want to ask you, I'm sorry, I just interrupted, sorry.
It's okay.
Did you ever feel, because I feel like, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like some people might cling to grief because they would feel guilty to let that go. Did you ever have any of that?
I had waves of it. I felt that if I hung on to it, I was closer to him. But it was the opposite. It was the opposite. And it took me to really fall down many times, fall to my knees and beg to get through those little slumps. And you know what it feels like in the awakening. There's some days you just, it's hard to get out of bed.
It's like even though you know it's going to be better one day, you don't even want to wait. I'm done now.
Yes. Yeah. So that's where our brain takes over, and we start, going through and processing everything. And that's part of grief. You have to go through grief.
Can't avoid it.
That's why we're here, is to have that experience and to learn from it. So it just doesn't go away if you just put it on the back burner. It's always going to be there. You have to go through it. But there are many days where I didn't want to live, of course. But I had lots of great people to help me through it, and I had Kari to keep me laughing, and I had lots of caffeine.
Yeah, I remember, Sarah, that first date we had, we took a selfie and we posted it in the Telling Eric group, and you said, "This is the first time I've smiled in a long time." And that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. And it was so great that you and I have a friendship built, and you didn't know Adam in my life, and you didn't know me the way I was. You met me after the fact with Adam. So, and I have so many beautiful friends that I've met on this journey, just like you have. You're just thinking, oh my gosh, where was I? Was I living, under a rock all this time? And so, thank you, Adam.
Just gave me a wink. So what do you say to parents because I know that, you kind of, you believe, that your purpose is to help other parents on your same journey. So what do you say to them when they just are so stuck? Because I know you run into that.
Quite a bit, and we just know, not even just parents, we know it's just people in our lives. Some of them are just stuck, right?
They can't get past it. They don't want to move on.
They can't get, they're afraid. First off, I was afraid personally to move forward because it was all unknown. I didn't know how I was going to live my life without my son because, there was not something in my future. Society doesn't teach us that, right? The parents are supposed to die before the child. So that was part of it, not knowing what was out there. So that was the faith and trust, and that we've all learned, and our faith and trust growing up. Whatever, we had faith and trust in Santa Claus, but somehow we missed the boat on everything else. So learning to accept and know that there's so much more looking, to look forward to in my life. That was a huge chunk, but I had to be around like-minded people that were going to uplift me. Not pull me down. And so those are choices we each make on our own, in our own personal circles. And thoughts, controlling, we call it control our own thoughts.
Mindfulness.
So that was the mindfulness. I didn't realize how important and how, in hindsight, looking at how so many other things, external things, affect your thoughts. I mean, I knew it, but until I dug into it and really learned more about myself, you don't realize it. And we're the only ones that can control our thoughts. Something's off if you're letting everyone else control your thoughts. So that was part of it too. I was being guided the whole time, and we're all being guided. We all are. And so.
I feel like every single handle, because one time one of my guides said you just kept grabbing the handles that were offered to you. I feel like you did the same thing. And I know I just said it, but you were just so ready to just, grab onto these handles and make your way forward. You are a true inspiration to other moms or parents, anybody that's lost anybody. Reach out to Sarah, really, because she's got such a good thing to say. Yeah.
Thank you. So, and I remember even, leading up to his death, seeing Teresa Caputo live exactly 1 month before his passing, all those things to prove to me that you can communicate with loved ones. I knew it, but I didn't experience it firsthand. It wasn't in my circle yet.
Right.
And I had no desire to pull it into my circle. So, they were all, everyone was preparing me for it. I just didn't realize that. Even though I always knew he was going to have a short life, but you don't know what the experience is until you're in it. You're in your own set of boots. So speaking of boots, segue right into it. So with Adam on that first Christmas, and the first holidays, because all of our birthdays, my daughter and my husband and my granddaughter and I are all within like 8 weeks. So from anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, it's all combined together. And so I was fearful of the holidays. And of course, that's one thing on our journey, we got to let go of fear because we have to stay more present in the moment. And so I had been seeking out spiritual help 6 or 7 weeks after Adam passed. I found a medium to go to, actually 2 mediums in one day. So that was my first ever experience with mediums, and it blew me away, and it flipped my switch. Not to say that I didn't flip the switch back and forth several times after that.
So first time I made it to the other one.
The first time. And that was so big. It was like you were at the top of the roller coaster and you went off that big, the big hill, and then you come back up and you go, I see the light now. I see my path. And it was to be able to communicate with it. I could see all the dots lining up in my path. The grief started lifting soon as I had my first reading. Not with just the signs that I got from Adam and different messages I already got from Adam. I needed proofs from something external to validate what I was getting, especially from a stranger, even more so, right? And so that was huge for me. It was like, this is real. So I had a few more readings, and then same thing. I was still doubting when I would get messages and hear from them. I was still in that doubty stage. I knew it was there. And so I was taking Reiki healing, Reiki to help with my own physical and mental healing. And so I went through all my Reiki certifications, which bumped me up a few notches and gave me a better understanding where I could communicate with the archangels and Jesus. So then I found myself asking them questions, which is huge for me. Instead of looking out this way, I was going to ask them.
Yeah. Go directly to the source. You don't need anybody else to tell you what's going on.
And it's like, well, I can trust them because that, that's my upbringing. I could trust them. I wasn't going to trust somebody else coming through, but I was going to trust them. It sounded like silly logic was working, but it worked out beautifully. Yeah. And then I had a reading in the fall before my first Christmas. And you probably remember that. It was that reading I had was over at Spirit Quest, Old Town Spring. It was the same medium I'd gone to before. And she said, well, Adam's saying, something about his boots, and which had come up in several of the sessions I'd had already. And she said, take his boots and use them as the Christmas stockings. And do what you want. Celebrate it however you want. Because I already decided I was still going to keep the stocking up every year. There's no way I wasn't going to. Of course. And so it was just a happy validation to go, he truly is here. He isn't like this righteous being in a white robe floating on a cloud somewhere.
Not Adam. I know that's about him. He might be riding around on a motorcycle. I don't know.
Not a motorcycle, right? And so that was my big, I had something to look forward for the holidays. I had something to look forward to, and it helped me to focus on that. And I had gotten messages from my father who passed too, and other relatives, including my mom, to get back in the groove of doing in your normal life. And that was something I was kind of scared of in that first, 6 months, because I knew if I moved forward, that when the life that Adam had was further back.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I didn't want to forget his voice. I didn't want to forget all the memories, not thinking I'd be able to hear his voice again,
I know.
which was huge. That was probably the most beautiful, amazing moment, was hearing his actual voice again.
Oh.
And that was like a year and a half after he passed. So Christmas, yeah, they're not the same, but I'm on the flip now. I hit the flip about the 2.5, 3 year mark. So this is going on my January will be 4. So that was my flip when I started to communicate with it, everyone else, to see that, how you go through these phases, you think, okay, it's just like this, but more.
Yes.
The afterlife is just like this, but more. Things more vibrant and more fun, and it's like, I don't fear anything.
I know, well.
If I can wear this hat,
Well, what are you going to do this year? What's your plans this year because now you said you've crossed that threshold into the shiny side. So how are you going to honor him this year?
Well, as you know, my house is all tore up because of the water leak. We didn't flood. Our house did not flood during Harvey, even though many of the neighbors did. But now my flooring is all tore up on my first floor. So this will probably be this is the first year my whole life I will not be able to decorate my whole house. Because my house always looks like Santa threw up.
She's that kind of girl. She really is.
I am. But I'm going to clear off the fireplace, just to get the furniture moved and everything. The fireplace, I'll decorate the fireplace, decorate his boots, because his boots stay on the fireplace.
Oh, that's sweet.
Every day, no matter what. I'll decorate, put the stockings up, and do that. And I always fix a favorite dish.
What's Adam's favorite dish?
Well, he liked all food, actually. No problem.
His favorite dish is food.
Anything food. Anything food.
Okay.
Even greens. He said even greens. Which is right here in the South, right?
He likes legumes, I bet.
And legumes. And legumes. Pinto beans.
Right.
Pinto beans. Backstrap, deer, venison backstrap, he just said. Yeah, so yeah, all those things I don't like.
Sounds pretty good to me. I wish I'd known this guy. Could have brought me some meat.
Yes. Well,
although
it won't be long.
I did meet.
You'll be channeling him before you know it.
I know. I'm going to trance channel him for you, and I'm going to do what Heather's been doing for me, and I'm going to get all his favorite foods, so you can watch him. You can cook.
It's going to be all meat cooking. It's going to be all meat. It's going to be all meat.
Perfect.
Meat and greens.
What if I was a vegetarian and
I'll eat the collard greens.
Okay, yeah. Don't make me eat too many vegetables, man.
And we don't do that. When Kari comes to my house, I try to fix really, really healthy, organic,
She tricks me.
pretty colors.
It works. Pretty colors.
Rainbow colors.
Eat your rainbow. Well, speaking of eating, Sarah.
Yes.
We wanted to do something a little bit silly and funny that didn't really have much to do with spirituality whatsoever.
No, it does not.
So, we can sing Christmas songs.
We can whistle. We can whistle jingle bells.
All right. No, this is all Sarah's idea. I'm just rolling with it. So I'm going to let you take over. Tell us.
Okay, well, I've never done this challenge. I have never done the saltine challenge ever. And that's the grandma coming out me. Okay, so we're going to take 6 saltines.
Okay.
And, now we're going to be Scouts honor that Kari and I are not cheating. 6. So put all the rest away.
God doesn't judge, so you can cheat if you want, but I'm not going to either.
So we have 1 minute. I have a timer. 1 minute.
Okay.
That we're going to eat the 6 saltines.
Are we supposed
They
to
say
swallow
the first
them or just shove them in
Yeah.
and leave them?
That's
what I like to do when I was little.
I love saltines, but I don't know about all in 1 minute. And so at the end of the minute, we have, hopefully, the winner will have eaten them all and swallowed it all. So you can't just have a whole, cracker bush going on.
That's what I like to do. I just
So what you do a
it all
test
in my
at the
mouth.
end.
Okay,
You cannot drink water doing it. You cannot drink water either.
So we're just shoving crackers in and eating them. I'm going to totally win this.
Yeah, but see now, you can't cheat and put all 6 in because you're going to have half of them on your table.
Okay.
So you could do like 2 at a time.
Okay.
See what I mean? Because that would be cheating because I cannot see down there. See?
So wait, so the contest is eat crackers in a minute at the end? Are we supposed to whistle afterwards or something?
You don't, well, the problem, there's hardly anyone that makes it 6 crackers.
Okay, well, I'm going to. Okay.
I would like to whistle at the end, okay? If you finish your crackers at the 1 minute mark, I want you to whistle Jingle Bells.
All right,
at the 1 minute mark. Okay, so you already know what the alarm sounds like. Okay, so we're going to do 2 at a time.
Yep. We are? Okay.
We're on the honor system. And I'll tell you when to start. I'll get ready.
Okay.
Start.
I thought. No way. There's no way.
We're halfway.
There's no way. We better keep going past a minute. I'm gonna choke and die. See you soon, Adam.
But
I'm a swallower. Okay.
well, we should have done this in 2 minutes.
I'm the winner! Woo! My computer is the loser. It is covered in cracker crumbs.
Yeah, I have it everywhere. I got right here.
Snack for later. I know. All over.
We can end. I got a couple cheesy jokes. I had to write down the punchline though, so I wouldn't forget, because you know I'm so corny.
Sarah is the corniest friend I have. I'm sorry, Sarah, but you're lame. She's always doing
Adam says, you know, Carrie, corn's not really a vegetable. It's just a roughage.
It's a starch. It's a carb. I love it. But we
have because you have little kids, you may know the answers to these jokes, though. We'll
also,
see.
I have my dad, and let me just say that we're in this little group thread with our Joy Tribe, and we have the Joyride girls, Tiffany and Carrie and Elisa, and me and Sarah and Emma. Sarah's always putting the corniest jokes in there for us. Elisa cracks up. Elisa thinks they're hilarious. I roll my eyes.
You just roll your eyes. No, Lisa's usually the only one that answers.
She's corny too.
Yeah, she's the only. Once in a while, the other Carrie will. It just depends.
We have an audience of one, and it's Elisa, your best cheerleader.
At least I have one.
Yep. All right, corn girl, lay your jokes
Okay.
on me.
Oh my gosh. How did Mary and Joseph know that Jesus weighed 7 pounds 1 ounce when he was born?
I don't know.
They had a weigh in the manger.
They had a weigh in the manger.
Weigh.
A weigh? I don't get it. Help me. What's a
They
weigh?
had a weigh. That's another word for like a scale.
I didn't know that.
Okay, you'll like this one. Why was the snowman digging through the carrots?
I don't know.
picking his nose. Okay, the final one for the night. What did Adam say the day before Christmas?
I'm afraid to ask.
I'm going to send it to you telepathically.
I do not.
Okay. It's Christmas Eve.
I was thinking you're Adam.
That's why I threw it in there, because I thought it was great.
You tricked me. I got one too.
Okay.
How do you tell a boy snowman from a girl snowman?
How?
Snowballs.
I really knew that when I was just letting you have it.
Thank you.
That's true. I'm just true. I love you, Kari.
I love you too, Sarah.
So I wish everyone
Yes.
great holiday season.
A shiny holiday. Find some way to make it fun, and even if you're like deep in it, what Sarah did was she found one thing to look forward to, and that was decorating the boots. This year she's just out of her whole thrashed house. She just has one area.
One little area.
That's all she needs is to take a picture. Nobody needs to know about anything else.
I can decorate the tree down at the park, the Memorial Park. But yes,
Adam's tree. Yep.
yeah. So anything to lift your spirits, because our loved ones want us to be happy. So when we're happy, you're going to feel them. You may get goosebumps. You may hear or think of a memory that they're interjecting in your thoughts, and you're going to say, that's them. Yeah. So you're going to have all kinds of cool things.
Yes,
So
invite that. Invite those messages, invite those signs, and if you see something, even just a little like, gee, I wonder, just go with it. And who cares?
Go with it.
Who cares if it's not an actual sign? Just pretend like it is, because chances are it truly is.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
So, cling to those. And, like we said before, the more you see, the more you see. So when you accept that, you'll start accepting shit everywhere, and it will just brighten your day every time. Okay, so on that, Sarah, I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to have a little bit of dessert. And if nobody can find something to be shiny about, go shove a bunch of crackers in your mouth. All right,
Bye-bye.
I love you.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas. I love you.